Did you know that more than 90% of First Nations people living on reserve pass away without a will? Creating a will can be an emotional process, but taking the time to make these decisions can help bring you peace of mind. It can also ease stress for your loved ones during a time of grief. But what are the differences between passing away with a will and without one? Let's start with the basics. What is a will? A will is a legal document written by an individual to decide how their assets will be distributed after their death. Assets can include land, homes, vehicles, bank accounts, insurance benefits, artwork, and much more. A will can also outline plans for the care of minor children, dependent adults, and pets in the event of your death. While writing a will may not be part of many Indigenous traditions, creating a valid will give individuals ordinarily living on reserve the ability to decide what happens to their assets. Only you can incorporate traditional values and practices into your will by creating one. Under the Indian Act, passing away without a valid will, also known as dying intestate, means only your surviving spouse and direct family members can receive your assets. According to Section 48 of the Indian Act, your assets must be evaluated before they can be distributed. This process can lead to delays, additional expenses, tension between family members, and stress for your loved ones. Writing your own will gives you the option to include beneficiaries beyond your immediate family, such as distant family members, friends, neighbors, co-workers, or charitable organizations. The Indian Act applies only to individuals whose names are recorded in the Indian Register and who are ordinarily a resident on a First Nation reserve. This includes anyone who may be temporarily living off reserve for a period of time to attend school, to take on seasonal work, or to access short or long-term care facilities. The Indian Act does not apply to status individuals who are not ordinarily living on reserve, nor does it apply to non-status individuals even if they live on reserve. Under the Indian Act, there are only 4 requirements for a will to be approved. It must be in writing, be signed by the deceased, clearly express the deceased wishes, and be intended to take effect upon death. A will must be created by a consenting adult. It cannot be made or updated if the person is influenced by drugs or alcohol, under duress, or considered mentally incapacitated due to disability or illness. A will has no legal force until it is approved by Indigenous Services Canada or until a court grants probate. A will can be rewritten at any time. While it is not required to include a date or have witnesses, doing so can help reduce confusion, especially if multiple wills are found. There are also inclusions for individuals who are illiterate or living with a visual disability to create a valid will. In these cases, the individuals can verbally state their will and have someone else write them down. Each page must then be read aloud and signed with an X by the individual. 2 witnesses, who are not heirs, must be present to confirm that the will was created truthfully and voluntarily. Creating and administering a will can be straightforward, especially if your estate is well documented. Remember, something is always better than nothing. When a will is thorough and intentional, it helps ensure your instructions are carried out and can prevent potential conflicts. When writing your will, be sure to name the person who will act as your executor. The executor is responsible for important tasks, such as paying off any outstanding debts, distributing assets to heirs, closing bank accounts, and other tasks. It is important to speak with the person you choose before naming them, so they understand the role and responsibilities of an executor and are prepared to take them on. If you have a larger estate, are a business owner with employees, or own property off reserve, it is strongly recommended to have a lawyer or notary clerk draft your will. When listing your assets, make sure your chosen heir is eligible to receive the asset. For example, non-band members cannot inherit reserved lands, and firearms cannot be transferred to someone without a valid license. It is also important to let your executor know where your will is stored, as only the original document will be accepted by Indigenous Services Canada. You can keep your will at your home or rent a safety deposit box, but make sure your executor has the code to your safe or the legal authority to access the deposit box in the event of your death. Some First Nation communities may offer will writing services as well as secure storage for their members. Certain provinces, like Quebec, have a will registry system that store a copy of your will and track the date it was created. This can help your executor find the most recent version. But remember, only the original will can be legally accepted. It is important to update your will after major life events to avoid uncertainties or additional delays. Consider updating your will in the event of marriage or divorce, birth or adoption, the purchase or sale of property, or if an heir or the executor passes away. This video was created to help inform First Nation members ordinarily living on reserve about the estates process under the Indian Act. Writing your will gives you the ability to make your own decisions about your assets and to include your traditions, values, and practices. We hope this video inspires you or your loved ones to start preparing a will today. For more information about wills and the estates process in First Nation communities, visit fnlmaql.ca.